All right, you're tuned into MMA Canada and very excited to be speaking with an individual competing at UFC Vancouver, which goes down on October the 18th. And a very intriguing lightweight bout set to go down as Matt Frevola takes on Kyle Nelson. And great having Kyle on MMA Canada today. How are you doing, man? You having a solid day so far?
Yeah, yeah, great day so far. Just getting ready for some training.
Yeah, and just wanted to offer up some big congratulations. I saw on the social media recently that a baby girl is going to be added to the fold a little bit, joining up with the brothers in the winter there. So great stuff there, man. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No, it's just so incredible. I mean, it's the most important thing at the end of the day. But I guess just like relative to the specific considerations of the fight, I would think you'd be excited for this one. Like just even in the context of it's been, I guess, close to a year since you fought, and by the time you do enter the cage for this one, it will be a bit over a year. So I guess how's the feeling returning to the fold in that kind of sense?
It feels good. I mean, like I train year round anyways, so it never feels like I'm taking time off from the sport or anything. But yeah, I don't like going, a full year without competing.
And I guess what were your thoughts on that last fight? Because I believe it was your partner that had posted this on Instagram talking about how there was like an illegal elbow delivered to the back of the head, and it seemed obviously, they were perturbed by that, which obviously fair enough. You want to protect the people you care about, but it seemed like that sentiment was related to just a general kind of overarching protect the fighters sentiment, and also saying that they felt it should have been a no contest. Like, do you have any particular feelings on that piece of the Steve Garcia fight from last September?
Yeah, I mean, there's a set of rules, and yeah, like it's. I mean, I've always done my best to abide by the rules. And I think the refs should be held a little bit more accountable. I mean, it seems like, and now it's kind of even a bit of a running joke for a lot of fighters. Like Derek Lewis has talked about. He's like, you get, a free eye poke, a free groin kick, whatever you want. You know, always get away with a couple before the ref does anything. And something like a bad eye poke or a hit to the back of the head, it can change the fight. And I got hit in the back of the head quite a few times in that fight. And I think maybe the ref gave him a verbal warning, but never stopped it or anything. And I mean, you get hit in the back of the head enough times, it's going to affect you. So I got hit in the back of the head a bunch, and then I was like, well, I can't just try and get up now because I'm a little bit dazed. So I wanted to take some time to try and recover and cover up on the ground and stuff. And then the ref ended up stepping in. And then some of like the people behind the scenes, when I got to the back room, they said you should appeal that. It was obviously, a bunch of shots to the back of the head that stopped the fight. So yeah, it's like my coach's stuff put it through the like the appeal process. The athletic commission agreed. I got hit in the head a bunch, but they just said they can't go against what the ref did, and obviously the ref did nothing. So
And you seem like you're taking it in stride, but is there something inherently frustrating about that? I would imagine it would be. I mean, like you said, you're, operating under a set of rules. You're not delivering those kind of strikes yourself and implementing those kind of techniques and everything like that. Like, do you feel a type of way about it, or is it so far in your rear view now you don't really, I guess, look at it through that lens and it's kind of onward and upward onto the next thing more so?
yeah, I mean, it was definitely frustrating at the time because it's not something you train for. You don't train, you know, to avoid eye pokes. You don't train to avoid shots to the back of the head. Um, and I don't train to deliver shots to the back of the head. There was a good portion of that fight and that first round where I was on Steve's back. And so I was, taking the time to try and reach around and punch him in the head. Whereas if I knew I could just elbow in the back of the head, it would have been a lot easier. And I probably could have finished him there instead of working for legal punches. But it was definitely frustrating at the time. Now I kind of understand, like the refs probably not going to do anything. So if I find myself in a position like that again, I got to make sure I'm protecting the back of my head, and I have to be, on the lookout for illegal strikes. So now I understand it's a part of the game, and it's doubtful depending on the ref whether or not they're going to enforce any of the rules. So I just have to fight like as if the ref's not there and protect myself, from illegal strikes as well.
Yeah, because it does sometimes seem arbitrary, like even at that UFC Shanghai card that happened kind of recently with that Kiefer Crosbie fight. Like you got hit with an illegal knee. And while there was a point deduction, I think a lot of people thought there maybe should have been a disqualification outright, or at the very least a no contest. And then Crosby not getting that full 5 minutes of recovery time either. So I would think that would have to be frustrating as an athlete. Just sometimes it's almost like the arbitrary, I guess, overview of whatever referee happens to be assigned for that fight.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I can't remember the name of the ref that I had. I think Smith, maybe. I can't say for sure right now, but I remember watching Contender Series a month or a few weeks after my fight, and there was another Canadian guy fighting Christian, and he got hit in the back of the head with an elbow too, and like to the point where it had cut the back of his head, and the ref still did absolutely nothing. So I understand it's a hard job being a ref, and sometimes you don't see everything. But like in my case, where I had the huge swelling with Christian's case, where he's got a cut on the back of the head, like you now there's pretty clear evidence, even for the referee who may have missed the initial shot. You can see he's bleeding from the back of his head, so he got hit in the back of the head. Maybe take a moment and give the fighter the chance to recover. Um, but I haven't seen too much of it yet since. At least with the back of the head shots, eye pokes, they seem to be a lot better with, again, pausing the time and stuff. Um, but yeah, I think if there's going to be a rule, no striking in the back of the head or the spine, then we should treat it like a rule. And if somebody gets hit with one or two or five blows of the back of the head, I think they should be given some recovery time.
Yeah, for sure. And just for, clarification, like you had said before, Mark Smith was in fact the assigned referee for that fight. But I guess a piece of that last one that I kind of wanted to tie into this fight, and I guess just the, path going forward, because I did see with your last fight, you addressed how you unfortunately missed weight for the first time in 22 professional weigh-ins and stated how it won't happen again. And this one being at lightweight now. Like, is that a permanent move? Are we going to see Kyle Nelson kind of plying his trade at lightweight going forward here? And that's kind of the path going ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with lightweight. I think at least the last few fights in my career, I was probably walking around as a lightweight, and then like I would in training camp, I would lose all the body fat I could, and then we get to a point where I'd have to burn off muscle. So I think if we just burn off the body fat, then I think we'll be right where I need to be, and I won't need to cut into my muscle too much, which is always a lot harder than burning fat. Like burning fat comes pretty easy for me. It's once I got down to having to burn lean mass and stuff that it really started to wear me out, especially in some of my earlier fights in the UFC when I didn't quite have it down pat yet. But yeah, I think fighting at 155, I'll be able to walk around a little bit closer to my natural weight. I'll be able to eat more, be better fueled, and I think we'll see a better performance out of me.
Yeah, and it's cool for this one too, because I saw you at a post a few months ago at this point talking about how the Canadians went undefeated last time the UFC came to Vancouver, and quite a few Canadian combatants on this card. Jasmine Jasdavicius, Aiemann Zahabi, Charles Jourdain, for example, and I mean Mike Malott as well, someone you have a bit of a training history with. I know you trained with him, I guess, around the UFC Vegas 97 preparations there. So, yeah, it's just an interesting one, too. Like I said, the Canadians kind of having that clean sweep last time out, and some big fights for the Canadians on this UFC Vancouver card as well, understandably.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I've trained with Aiemann a bit over at TriStar. I was like you said, I've trained with Mike. I don't know, for like 10 years or something like that. Like he came up with my head coach, and then he spent a bunch of time in Alpha Male. So then we'd only see him every now and then, but now he's back here full time and training with Jazz a little bit at Niagara Top team too. So and Kyle Prepelec, he's been coming out. So we kind of got a good group of Canadian UFC guys all fighting on this same card, and we all get to train together. So I think everybody's going to be looking extra sharp for this one.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very exciting card and a great crop of talent to represent Canada, in my estimation. I guess looking at your opponent here, Matt Frevola, I mean, some massive fights across his resume and stuff like that, looking to rebound from some setbacks to Benoit, St. Denis, and Ferez Zayam, which understandable, but some wins over guys like, Drew Dober and stuff like that, Luis Pena, Jalen Turner, also fought Aiemann Zahabi. So definitely a deep resume, I guess, in kind of asking about Matt Frevola. Like, what are your thoughts on that resume and just the skill set that the Steamroller brings to this one?
Yeah, I mean, he's fought a ton of great competition, and obviously we've seen some mixed results for him. I think, I mean, this is going to be one of my first fights. I mean, I fought at lightweight back in London, um, but I think this is going to be my real introduction to the lightweight division. And I think a guy like Matt Frevola, who's fought some of the best guys in the division, is going to be a great test for me. And I think I'm going to be able to prove myself and be coming in with a little bit more power than I did at 145. And as we've seen, Frevola, he's been hit and he's been put down before. So I think we're probably going to see that again.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great opponent, like you said, to kind of like really introduce yourself onto that lightweight scene. Because I mean, just even some of the names there, like Tsarukyan, a guy who even in January was supposed to be fighting for the title and everything like that. So to be facing someone like that, I think would really, I guess, inform your trajectory in this new weight category in a positive way if you get your ideal outcome and all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think yeah. I mean, I've seen Matt Frevola's style. I think I match up well, against his style. But it's definitely going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt like one of your, I guess, like standout performances in the UFC saw you emerge victorious on that Nunes versus Aldana card and everything. And I guess I bring that up to get your thoughts on Amanda Nunes returning to fight Kayla Harrison. That would seem like a pretty big one for the, UFC fold and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was like the best possible option. I mean, I don't know who we have in the UFC right now that's going to be able to challenge Kayla Harrison. So Amanda Nunes coming out of retirement for that one is going to be pretty huge. Then we'll just see. Hopefully, it's the same Amanda Nunes, that we had before she retired. Yeah, definitely interesting to see how Kayla's going to do against her, and then what's going to happen after that. If Amanda wins, is she going to retire again? If Kayla wins, is she going to keep trying to fight at 135? Or yeah, it's going to be interesting for the division.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely interjects a certain, or rather injects a certain level of excitement into the scene, which you always love to see and everything. And I just really love to see how much you, I guess, pay it forward to the sport as well. I guess I'm referencing the fact that you were cornering at Canadian Fight League a little bit ago at their first amateur MMA event. And I also saw you sitting with Neil Lumsden, the Ontario Minister of Sports and everything. So it is really cool to see you, I guess, give back to the sport in that sense, like on the more grassroots kind of level and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I came up in this sport, it was quite a bit different. I mean, MMA wasn't legal in Ontario until like 2010. So I'd spent the first 5 years of my career, and I was pretty young, but training in a province where it wasn't even technically legal to compete. Um, and now we've got, like you said, amateur MMA starting up here. So it's great for some of my training partners, some of the people that help coach. They're getting to, compete, 5, 10, 15 minutes away from their house. Whereas when I came up, I had to go down to Michigan or Alberta or Quebec. So it's nice that that's happening. And I think with that, we'll see a big surge in Ontario MMA talent.
Yeah, no, and it's cool to see you also, I guess, step into the commentary booth a little bit. I saw you with Official Fight Federation and John Ramdeen, who's such a stalwart in that kind of sense, just the MMA broadcasting kind of scene and everything like that. That must have been a fun experience for you, I would presume.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely interesting. I mean, normally I'm cornering people, so I just kind of took that aspect to it. Whereas like I'm trying to study the fighters, see who's doing what, maybe throw out some options for the audience as to what they could be doing or what they're about to do. If they're doing something intricate in like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something, I can break it down a little bit for them, just for some of the casual fans that may not understand some of the the more complicated parts of jiu-jitsu. But definitely something I enjoyed, and we'll see. Maybe when I'm done competing so much, maybe I'll get into that a little bit more too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have invaluable insights for something like that. And I guess that was something we kind of touched on when we did an interview circa February of last year, where you had done some MC work for Canadian Muay Thai League and stuff like that. So, yeah, it definitely seems like something you enjoy doing. And yeah, can lend a lot of great insights to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's another way, like I like coaching as well, but it's also a cool way to stay involved with the sport. I get to go and watch all the fights and, hang out with, all my peers and stuff. And it's nice sometimes when you're not the one fighting, you can relax a little bit more and kind of enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously another way that you give back to the scene in a big way, just honing the skills of people who come through your gym and stuff like that. And a lot of fighters that I talk to who do train people, it even further underscores their understanding of the basics in a way that seems to really benefit them as a competitor and stuff like that. So I love to see that piece as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you're coaching, different techniques to especially different people, everybody learns a little bit differently. So sometimes you have to kind of look at something as simple as an arm bar, and you got to look at it from a bunch of different angles to try and figure out. Some people learn better physically, some people you need to explain it, some people need to see it. So kind of dissecting a lot of the techniques helps you as the coach understand it better as well.
Yeah, no, it's just incredible stuff, man. Are we gonna get the classic Moose Delaney's watch party going on for this one? Is that on the docket?
Yeah, yeah, we're just trying to line up all the official parties. But yeah, definitely in Huntsville, it's always going to be at Moose Delaney's.
Yeah, no, we love to see it. Always, it's always great just speaking to that, I guess, community support piece and stuff like that. I always love to, I guess, see those different, connectivity points and stuff like that. And I guess just kind of, tying it together because you're like a lightweight now and stuff like that. And you had fought Jai Herbert in the UFC previously, who I think in a lot of people's estimation gave Ilia Taporia one of the, I guess, tougher goes inside of the cage. Like, I guess, what are your thoughts on his, I guess, ascension to now becoming the lightweight champion since you're now plying your trade as a 155er going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ilya's been he's been on a pretty good run. Um, knocking out some people that you haven't seen knocked out, like Max Holloway. The Volkanovski fight, again, I think everybody's kind of already said this, but it might have been a little bit too soon after the knockout. Um, but you can't deny his skill set. He's gone in there with guys like Bryce Mitchell, or no, maybe it was Hall, but like really great jiu-jitsu guys, and he's held his own. You haven't really seen him out wrestled. You haven't seen him outstruck. So he's definitely. I think we're going to see him sit at the top for a while. And the biggest challenge I could see him running into might be someone like Armin, just like a big heavyweight. I mean, not heavyweight, big lightweight that might be able to put his weight on him. We saw against Oliveira when they were against the fence. It looked a little bit like maybe Oliveira had a little bit of like size and strength on Topuria. So it'll be interesting to see somebody like Armin put Topuria in a position like that and see how he responds. But definitely in the striking, I mean, I don't see anybody kind of putting together some like that kind of same crisp, clean boxing with that knockout power.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, such an incredible fighter and stuff like that. And just, yeah, it seems like a very healthy weight category. I mean, lightweight is always like such a shark tank for sure, but it just seems like a very interesting time for the division. And I feel like your inclusion in the fold definitely, further adds to that, Kyle. But it's always good getting to talk to you, man. Like I was kind of saying before, though, I do also want to be mindful of your time and cognizant of that schedule. So is there maybe like a final thought you might want to add here as we're wrapping up on MMA Canada? I really appreciate the time and insights today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, make sure everyone tune in to the fights October 18th. And then check out my social media for all my sponsors and stuff, the people that are, helping me through the training camp and getting me to, UFC Vancouver. So support them, support me, and yeah, let's have a good fight.
Yeah, for sure. Got to show that support for Kyle Nelson. And just like I was kind of saying before, such a deep card with some great Canadian fighters all throughout. And you very much fit within that kind of context for sure. So super stoked to see this card in October, man. And thanks so much again for coming on the program today. And just all the best with the remainder of the preparations. And also have a good rest of your day too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.